Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast on the Think Tank podcast. My name is Maria from The Conscious CEO, and I have the lovely Eli Huang from the Acupuncture and Beauty Center with me. And we'll be doing a chat today on stress and immune health. Now, Eli is actually a natural health practitioner in traditional Chinese medicine. She's also an acupuncturist and a beauty therapist. And Eli actually has a passion in helping people find their to be healthier and also to look younger. She's also passionate about women's health and fertility and works holistically on balancing the body, mind, and spirit for optimal health and well-being. So we'll get straight into it and I'll bring her on. Welcome, Eli. Good to have you.
Thanks, Maria, for having me on today.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your story if I haven't covered everything in the intro?
Yeah, I think you've covered most. Look, so I am actually a second generation Chinese medicine holistic health practitioner. My father's been a Chinese medicine practitioner for over 45 years. So the two of us combined, we've got over 50 years experience in Chinese medicine, holistic health. So I've pretty much grown up with, sort of how to look after myself from a young age. Mum and dad were quite strict with, how we ate. Mum was a great cook. So I learnt early on that, health is so important. Of course, even like growing up as a child, you wish you had more junk food. And it's the same now with my two little ones. But now that I'm an adult, I appreciate, how that has helped me be such a healthy adult. And in these times, health is everything at the moment. So I grew up, having great food, learning, good eating, good diet and lifestyle habits from a young age. My passion is combining sort of ancient techniques like traditional Chinese medicine with modern science in my beauty therapy. So I love helping women sort of look younger. Preventing chronic illness is so important in this day and age. And so just love researching about, what makes us healthy, how we can live longer. And I believe it's all about sort of health span rather than lifespan. We want good quality of life and being healthy, till our, older years, 90s even. And so, that's where I come from with my background, sort of just using Chinese medicine, the techniques, and all their ancient wisdom. The Chinese are great with holistic health and looking after the body as a whole and finding the root cause of illness. So that's where I come from in terms of my treatments in clinic and just looking at patients in the holistic way.
Yeah, and I love how you bring so many different modalities in what you do, because with natural medicine, like there isn't only just one way to do things, and applying one system is only one facet of being able to approach a problem. So I think by you having so many different facets and aspects of your, of what you do, allows you, to see a bigger picture as a whole for your patients. Do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely right. Like, I think when we look at the holistic and the whole picture, rather than focusing on little symptoms, we can actually find out what is the true cause of what is causing them pain or what is causing them, an imbalance in their body. So I use various different holistic methods, combining acupuncture, supplementation, herbal medicine. I use sound therapy, light therapy, acupressure. So all of those things together help balance out body, mind, and spirit in different levels and at different aspects in the body.
Lovely. So tell me, now with everything that's happening at the moment, with everyone being, stuck in their homes and having extra added stress in their lifestyle, tell me why now is actually a really good time to be focusing on your health?
So I think now more than ever, because of all the panic and with the pandemic that is going on, people realize how important their health is at this during a crisis like this. Before this, people probably went about, it's not to say we don't have an increase in chronic illness, cancer, autoimmune, allergies than we have ever before. But with an added pandemic and something we've never seen before, people are questioning oh, what can I do to have optimal health? And, have I been leading a good, healthy lifestyle up until this day, that will get me through this crisis and pandemic on top. So I'll come out of this, basically either with minimal symptoms or not even contracting, the virus itself. But I don't think just having this virus should, make us, should just be, okay, now it's a time to focus on health. I think even after this is over, and hopefully sooner rather than later, we have to continue this health trend. We have to continue looking after our health, because we only have one body in this lifetime. I don't think we need another pandemic or another virus to shake our health and to shake us into thinking, okay, now we need to look after our health. It should be something we should be doing from early on and throughout the rest of our lifetime. The Chinese medicine, they believe that there's 4 pillars of health, and we will talk about this in the talk. But, I think now more than ever, we should be looking after our health, but we should continue this journey. So whether you're starting to pivot your health and, putting in steps to make sure you are the healthiest you can be, I'm hoping that most people will follow through and will go through some techniques to keep this health up, and hopefully, you stay healthy for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have to hit something in order to start taking action. And this has probably been a global hit where everyone's decided to take some action or gone the opposite way and doing nothing at all. So, I think, preventative measures are best in order to, prevent anything from happening. So better late than never, I would say.
Exactly. I think, now's the time with people questioning, okay, what else can I do if they haven't already? They're looking at, things that they can introduce into their diet lifestyle, what they can change so that they are going to be healthier. And then, like you said, there are people who I've seen go in the complete opposite direction. Those who are locked down, they're not going out to exercise like they should, they're eating worse than ever. So yeah, you've got 2 extremes, I think, at the moment with a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about, people such as yourself and doing these sort of these podcast talks is being able to create awareness for people to become conscious of what they're doing and what they are not doing in order to change things in their current environment. So then tell me, how is it stress actually affecting the body, and how is this detrimental on the immune system?
So stress in general is the cause of over 90% of chronic illness. So we mentioned things such as cancer, autoimmune disease, allergies, those sort of things are actually quite preventable. And, we can definitely reduce our risk of chronic disease. So with stress, when we stress, our body releases several hormones such as adrenaline, cortisol, and glucagon. Now, these sort of stress hormones makes our immune system shut down because we go through a fight or flight response. So it reduces our immune response because our body needs to go into fight or flight. And this and this can be anything from your mental stress, or it could be physical stress. So back in the day, the human body hasn't changed much throughout all these thousands of years. But when we used to get chased by a tiger or a big lion out in the jungle, our body would shut down and we would literally go into a fight or flight response. But these days, with all the mental stress that is happening, with people, it is the same response chemically in our body. We are still producing those hormones, and our body will shut down when it is going through that chronic stress. Now, the problem is people are not getting out of that chronic stress. We stay in that chronic stress for a long time. We do want to go through stresses, like if you need to go through an acute stress response, you do have to run away from an attacker or something, then your body should be able to come out of that and return back to normal. But most people stay in that stress state, and that is not good on our immune system. So at the moment, we need our immune system to be working at its optimal, 100%. We want to get it, working to the best of its abilities. And when we're stressing, that is not helping our immune system at all. So we need to look at different techniques, different methods that can alleviate the stress response on our body so that we are not in this chronic long-term stress for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, mindset comes into a big part of that as well. If you're feeding your mind with certain things such as, the news and certain environments, that it can trigger that fight, flight, or freeze response, which therefore, unconsciously can lower the immune system. But when people take action in doing what they can do to support themselves in these environments, because the external things that are happening, you can't avoid those, would definitely lower the stress. How do you think, there are a lot of people out there that work in high stressful jobs and currently experiencing stress on a regular basis and are in that flight or flight mode, and now they've come in, their environment has shifted and everything has changed. Either they've had to work from home and they're in another different state of stress. How would that kind of build upon what they've already got, or would that just shift kind of where the focus is and have the same amount of stress occurring in that, just because it's different change of environment?
So I think stress produces the same response, whether it's short-term stress or chronic long-term stress. So the body's still releasing the same hormones, but you want to be able to find a way where you can bring yourself out of that stressful situation. Look, even if it's for a few minutes a day, that's why I think, things like meditation is great. Like you mentioned before, positive thinking and being mindful of what we're watching. We are all, people race to watch the news, or they're filling their minds up with things which will stress themselves out more. Instead of going for a run or maybe a nice walk, they're filling themselves up with more things that are going to cause more stress. So, and if you're a type of person who can't handle stress very well, then watching the news to stress you out even more is definitely not a positive thing to do for yourself. So I think being mindful of what you are watching, what you are thinking, is really important to reduce some of those stress responses on the body. And definitely, look, there are people that are in high stress situations, such as health workers. So, they could be in that high stress because they've got a lot more patients to see at the moment, especially if they're in America. And yeah, they're going to be in that high stressful situation, but hopefully that doesn't stay too long in their body, or they are doing other techniques or other things to help manage that stress. So whether the time that their downtime they have from work, they are, going for a run, doing some deep breathing, doing some mindfulness, and working on that the best they can, so that even if it's for 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, it's still better than stressing out 24/7 and keeping your mind in that high level of stress. So mental stress, I think, is at an all-time high. And so I think, as humans, we definitely need to take our foot off the pedal, literally, and do things that will help to just calm ourselves down, like the meditating, the deep breathing, and, positive thinking, mindfulness. All those things can calm our body, even if it's just momentarily. And that's when our immune system can take control and say, oh, okay, the body is relaxed right now. Let's kick in and let's start, detoxing, shifting some of those toxic cells, getting the body to rejuvenate. And that can even help our sleep. So the best time, I say, for mindfulness or even exercise would be sort of before dinner. You give your body a chance to relax, so that when you are going into sleep, your body is able to rejuvenate and help with your immune response then. But when we're stressed all the time, some people aren't sleeping very well. So that can play a part on the immune system, because our immune system is most active when we're sleeping. So if we are stressed before sleep, we're not getting good quality sleep at night, they can definitely be detrimental to our health as well.
Okay. Now that kind of leads into my next question that I wanted to know, in terms of what are some ways that people can reduce stress. And you did mention meditation and sleep. Is there anything further you want to unpack with that, or any other kind of points where people can, be aware of being able to reduce stress in the comfort of their own home?
Yeah, so again, I'm just touching on the sleep hygiene. I think it's so important that we are mindful of what we're watching and what we're doing in a few hours leading up to sleep. So we want to make sure that our body is nice and relaxed. So even like a bath, if you find that you're very stressed, water bath, it's a really great way to de-stress. You can put some Epsom salts in there. It gets your body to unwind, and so you're going into sleep with a much relaxed manner. I think definitely no screen time. People are still on their phones, whether this is just in this day and age, but even before the whole virus, everyone was on their phones, and I believe they're on their phones way too much. I think we are, we're so bombarded with social media and what's going on around us. We're so stimulated, our brain, that we don't actually have a chance to de-stress and unwind. So taking that time just before sleep is really vital, that you do switch off your phones, your screens, and you just maybe read a book, a nice fiction book. When was the last time we picked up a good, book and have a good read instead of reading, all this stuff on social media and seeing so much happening around the world. So I think, that's important. A great thing would be to, give yourself a foot massage. Like I know, now if when we can go back to getting a nice massage, that is definitely really, who hasn't felt relaxed after a massage? If you've got a partner, you're living at home with someone, now's the time to give each other a massage or a foot rub. If you're by yourself, like I said, a bath, you can rub your own feet. It's probably not the same as getting someone to give you a massage, but so I think, a nice massage or foot soak, if you're by yourself, you can't get to a massage, definitely soak your feet, even if you don't have a big bath. Not everyone has a bath, but a nice foot soak. And so like I said, a massage would be really good. You can even do some acupressure. So, if you don't know some points, we can introduce some points, or you can go onto YouTube. There's plenty of great videos on, sort of acupressure, and just taking the tension, like even a good scalp massage. I find sort of if you just massage into your head, we have so much tension in our head and shoulders that, even if you're just having a nice, like you're washing your hair every night, just spending time to really sort of give yourself like a nice firm scalp massage. There are so many pressure points in our scalp. And when you've just released all that tension, you feel like this big weight has been lifted off your head and off your shoulders. Like, I love a great scalp massage. My mom has had the benefits. My dad and I are great at scalp massage, and every time she gets a headache, it's the one thing she asks for. But I think that when we're so stressed and we've filled our heads with so much, tension, and on our computers a lot, that a nice scalp massage. So I can just teach you a quick technique, but if you sort of spread your fingers out and you want to just do a firm massage with the pads of your hand, and you just kind of nice firm around the head and just everywhere, because there's so many pressure points. And just a few minutes, you can just feel like all of this energy has been stimulated, and your head just feels so much lighter. So, that's great. That's one of my go-to things, is a good scalp massage. And another thing would be sort of a neck massage. Just around here, we have a lot of tension in our shoulders. So even if you don't have someone to give you a massage, you can just use your hand and just on each shoulder, just a few minutes, just to let go of any of that tension. So that's really great. So scalp massage, neck and shoulder massage, like I said, like a foot soak. They're all really great things to help us with managing some of that stress and helping us to relax. It doesn't feel great after a nice warm shower when we've had, a nice massage or a bath. You feel so much more better, and your body will respond when you are relaxed and in that sort of relaxed state.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
How does food actually play a role in reducing stress?
So we've all heard this saying that, let food be medicine. And, that's what the Chinese have done for so long, and across some other sort of cultures, they use food as medicine. So we have to remember that what we put in our mouths will actually, either help our health or be detrimental to our health. So in this day and age, we, I think in the Western country, a lot of us are so unhealthy. We are eating, more than ever. We're not eating good food. And you can see in America and even in Australia, we aren't doing the best we can to eat the best we can. So, and that plays a big role in putting more stress on our body. So when we're eating things such as sugar, which is highly inflammatory, not only will it be bad on stress in your body, but also cause a lot of inflammation. So inflammation is actually a cause of aging in the body. So that can lead to chronic illness, autoimmune disease. Sugar is a huge part, I think, in playing in terms of inflammation. Inflammation is one of the number one causes for chronic illness in the body. So when we're having things like sugar, we might have a big hit of adrenaline and energy, but it is causing our bodies to go through stress, and our body is fighting that inflammatory process. So you definitely want to be eating well. So you want to cut your sugar, which is the number one thing. I definitely say cutting sugar down. And now people, it's reported that Australians are having an increase in alcohol consumption, because when we're stressed, we look towards alcohol as a way of calming ourselves, but it actually has the opposite effect. You might feel calm after one glass of wine, but your body isn't calm after, a whole case of beer or a bottle of wine. It can have the opposite effect. So we might feel calm, like I said, everything in moderation. One glass of wine could be great for the body, but having too much, your body will be going through a huge detox. So your liver is working extra hard to detoxify all of that alcohol. It's causing more stress. So your mental stress, and it's causing inflammation in the body as well. So again, in terms of drinking, yeah, one glass of red wine could be great, but people have increased, 1 in 3 Australians now are drinking, and it's a 70% increase in what they're drinking as well. So that's huge on the body. So I think we should definitely be cutting back on alcohol. Maybe 1 glass of red wine every now and again, but I don't think we should be having excessive amounts of alcohol. And then also, I think now's the time, if you don't already cook or know some basics of cooking, I think it's not hard to start introducing some basic principles of cooking into your diet. Vegetables are great because they're full of antioxidants. They're healthy on the body. They have a lot of fiber, antioxidants. We definitely want to be having vegetables in our diet as much as possible. So I think most people, we aren't eating enough vegetables. People are still ordering a lot of takeout. And so I think, now's the time to learn how to cook, because when you learn how to cook, you can adjust the salt content, the sugar content, and you can prepare things in a much more loving manner, and that'll be great for your body. So another thing, we should be eating more of, some great protein, organic, chicken and fish are really good. So we do need our servings of good protein. We can also have a lot more good fats in the body. So, things like avocado, nuts, eggs, all those sort of things are really good as well. So you want to have a balanced diet where you've got less inflammatory foods such as processed foods, your sugars, and have more great vegetables, fruit and protein.
Yeah, so one thing I actually noticed, which caught my eye, I love to cook. So having the opportunity to be at home and cook is like, I'm kind of in heaven. But I know there's a lot of people out there that, don't like cooking, and they avoid it, and they tend to buy out a lot more. But now that there is less choices because of everything that's happening, there's a lot more prominence in choosing poor choices in terms of foods from when you go to the supermarket. So one thing that really caught my eye is that there are a lot of chefs out there that are doing virtual cooking classes for these kinds of people, which I found really interesting. So for people to still think that because they're at home, that they don't have access to things or they don't have the resources, is to maybe just do a bit of research and actually find what there might be, because a lot more nowadays we're getting on board on the online space in being able to make things so much more accessible. So that's a really, really good point in cooking more at home.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's so many YouTube videos. I think there's YouTube videos for everything. And there's just, basic things. I think cooking is not a hard thing. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to make 5-star meals. It takes me probably 10 minutes to make a quick, healthy meal. Like last night, I had some grilled salmon with, some vegetables, and literally you buy a piece of beautiful salmon, takes 6-7 minutes on a hot pan, and then, you can boil up some vegetables or steamed vegetables. It literally takes less than 10-15 minutes for a healthy meal. And it's better for your body, but it's also cheaper in the long run, because when you're healthier, you have to spend less time being sick, and also you know exactly what you're eating, and you can eat healthier than ordering out. So I think people think it might be too time consuming, but it doesn't take a lot of time to make something really quick and healthy. There are some quick meals. There's so many online videos. You could do like a meal with 5 ingredients. You could look up meals which take 10 minutes or less. So being now with people at home, there are so many online videos, like you said, and you could find anything and everything online and on the internet. So there's really no excuse for people to say, oh, they can't cook. That's very simple. It doesn't take a chef to make something really easy, simple and nice.
Absolutely. So my next question is I want to know how stress and the immune system go hand in hand, because it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like I have this perception it's a seesaw. When one's up, one's down. When one's up, the other one's down. And I think we're all in this constant, kind of battle, let's say, of trying to get the seesaw to be balanced. Now, is there ever a time where it can be like that, or is it always, trying to be one or the other?
So like we said, like definitely the stress has a huge play on the immune system. So we definitely want to do all we can to get those stress levels down, and then our immunity will definitely come up. So, we mentioned all those things that all help. And like I said, there's, you can remember the 4 pillars to good health. So it's not just eating right, but we also got to make sure we have, sort of looking after and cultivating our mind, with meditation, with mindfulness, with making sure that we are de-stressing. So we've got number 1, I would say, is eating well. So a healthy diet, nourishing foods on the body would be the first pillar of health. And then the second one will be sort of looking after our mind and our stress, what we mentioned earlier, sort of doing all those things we can to de-stress as much as possible. And third is the importance of sleep. So when we sleep, our immune system is able to rest. And these days, we really do need a solid 8 to 10 hours of sleep. We need to get our immune systems healthy. We need to stay optimal. We need to function properly. We can't function on a few hours sleep. I've seen patients and clients who operate on 4 to 5 hours, but we can only do that for so long. So we really want to make sure we are getting a good night's rest, because it does work wonders for our health. We look younger, we feel healthier. And the last is to look after our bodies. So in terms of exercise, putting in good food, and eating well. And so all those things combined will help our immune system. So it's not just one thing, it's everything together. We can't just say eat right but not sleep or not exercise. We need to do it all in combination, and every little part plays a role in making sure our immune system is working optimally. Because when we treat our bodies right, it looks after us. Our body is such a great healer. It is always constantly trying to keep us healthy. But if we're constantly pushing it down and not allowing it to keep us healthy, like eating the wrong things, like not sleeping, not exercising, it is going to fight back, and it is going to say, okay, well, I give up. If you're not going to look after me, why should I look after you? So that's a great thing about our body. It's always regenerating. It's doing so much when we're sleeping, it's helping us breathe. It's pumping blood. It's doing so much without us even being aware of it at an unconscious level, that when we are looking after it consciously by putting in the right foods and doing all those things, you have to think of your body as being like a temple or an inner garden. You're eating right and you're feeding it with the right things, it will treat you right back. So I think that's really important. We have to actually think we've only got one body in this lifetime. We do have to treat it with respect. And if we're looking after it right, the immune system will work and it will serve us back.
Do you think getting out and getting sun is important?
Oh, definitely. With all these lockdowns, and even once we go back, I'm sure there's people that don't exercise regularly, because those which are health fanatics and exercise, so that doesn't stop them. Even lockdown, they'll go out for a good run. So I think, we need sunlight. Vitamin D is so important on our immune system. But also sun, and just being out in nature and being outside just gives us that boost, helps our immune system, gives us stronger bones. So we do need sunlight is so important for both our mental and health and well-being. So I think we all need to go out and get at least 30 to 40 minutes of sun. I don't think with these lockdowns that should be something that you can't do unless you're in quarantine. But after this, we should all be going out and exercising as much as possible, which is so important, so we definitely need to keep up with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. And there's where, like I said, everything's virtually now, so people can do home exercise regimes and programs. So there's really no excuse.
I'm doing dance classes every day online because my dance studio is closed, and I do one every single night, and so there's no excuse. You can jump on YouTube, do some Zumba classes, so but definitely still go out and get some fresh air. And if you've got some great home online dance classes, gym classes, definitely do that as well. We just need to keep active, instead of just being couch potatoes. I don't know why people are saying there's nothing to watch on TV because they've watched every single TV series of Netflix. This is a time we should be optimizing our health. And so we're coming out of this on top, but also just, it's just good for our own mental well-being. You don't want to come out of this and realize, what have we done for the last 3 months? I've just been watching TV, being couch potato. You want to be optimal and say, wow, I've made really great use of my time. I've been productive. My health is the best it's ever been before. So I don't think we have an excuse to say, okay, now's the time we should, be watching more TV and being lazier. So yeah.
All right, fantastic. So tell me, what are some ways to improve the quality of our immune system in terms of like what we can eat or people can eat to be able to improve their immune system? And would there be more supplements, or can you actually get that with food?
So I say that first of all is to have a great diet. So I think, eating your fresh vegetables, good quality protein would be number one. And then you need to supplement, I think, a few things, just even with seasonal changes, when we are more likely to get colds or flus. And now, with our immune system a little bit more threatened, it's definitely a great time to supplement with a few things. I think, having a great diet is one thing, but I also add a few things in my supplementation, which would be right now sort of high doses of vitamin C. I think we can get enough from our diet, but I think some people still aren't getting the optimal amount. So it doesn't hurt to supplement, I think, with some vitamin C. Also a great multivitamin. It's hard to get everything from all of our diet. So a good multivitamin would be good to serve us with all the different micro and macro nutrients. So definitely a multivitamin. And vitamin D is great on the immune system. So those that aren't getting enough sun, but also they may not be absorbing the sunlight, I would say a vitamin D supplementation is good on the immune system. And I think even most people in Australia are actually vitamin D deficient, believe it or not. So I think whether we're going to the office, whether we used to work in corporate and we just go into the office all day and then come home when it's dark, we aren't actually getting enough dose of vitamin D. And that's actually a really important hormone on both for our body and also for our immune system and our bones as well. So we need to top up on vitamin D. And another great one for all the stress that everyone's going through and just good on the body in general is magnesium. So magnesium really helps with that stress response. It keeps us relaxed. And yeah, I think that's a good thing to have every day as well, because most people I've tested are also magnesium deficient as well. So they're sort of my top supplements in terms of just keeping your body healthy and preventing, sort of the common cold or flu or seasonal respiratory illness as well. So yeah, definitely add those in.
Fantastic. Yeah. Where can the listeners get some sort of resource to be able to, identify and keep themselves on track with their immune system and their stress, let's say?
So I've got a great social media page. I do some updates there. And also, I think there's plenty of great resources online, looking at some great journal articles. There's some great things out there. And just, following some great podcasts like yourself. And, I think just keeping your body healthy and just looking up, if you're not sure on something, there is so much out there online, so whether, it's different diets. And just going back to diets, actually, I forgot to mention that, whether you're vegan, keto, or, whatever diet you choose, there are so many great recipes and things and how to eat well in terms of looking up some great resources there. So I think, being online, the world is your oyster. There's so much out there that I don't think there is a lack of resources to find the information that you need.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your expertise here. If you would like to connect with Ellie, definitely check out the links in her ebook, which is all on longevity, as well as there'll be a couple of resources available as well. So thank you so much, and I really enjoyed this.
Thank you, Maria. Yes, and yes, that was great mention. Yes, my ebook I've written on longevity and health, and so I've got a few more tips that I might not have covered in today's talk. But so we hope you all enjoyed the podcast, and definitely download my ebook for some great some more tips on health.
Fantastic. All right. So thank you for joining me. Remember to be bold, be brave, and have fun. My name's Maria. Till next time, bye for now.